On a quiet Tuesday in suburban Chicago, a generational rift quietly shakes a family's foundation. Sarah, a college student, scrolls through images of devastation overseas, her perspective shaped by social media. Her grandfather, a lifelong voter, watches the same conflict on the news, seeing a trusted ally fighting for survival. Their dinner is tense, unspoken disagreements thicken the air. This isn't just a family dispute, it's a microcosm of a seismic shift in American politics. For decades, U.S. Israel relations were a rare point of unity. Now, a generational divide is opening, threatening to reshape this alliance. Younger Americans like Sarah see injustice and question America's global role, while older generations hold to familiar narratives. The tremors are now visible. Protests on campuses, debates in Congress, and heated family conversations. As a new generation rises, America is entering a defining moment, rethinking alliances that have defined its identity for nearly a century. Don't forget to like and subscribe now. For over 70 years, U.S.-Israel ties were described as unbreakable, a bipartisan consensus rooted in shared values and strategic interests. American presidents from both parties have repeatedly affirmed this alliance, often calling it a cornerstone of U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. Born from the aftermath of World War II and the Holocaust, support for Israel merged moral imperative with Cold War strategy. The United States saw the new nation as both a refuge for a persecuted people and a potential democratic ally in a volatile region. Israel became a key ally against Soviet influence, then a partner in counterterrorism and intelligence. Over decades, military and intelligence cooperation deepened, shaping the security landscape of the region. Billions in aid flowed, reinforcing Israel's military edge and cementing public support, especially among older Americans. This financial and military backing became a symbol of unwavering commitment, visible in both policy and public sentiment. Advocacy groups like AIPAC and religious institutions bolstered this alliance, making it a pillar of American identity. Their influence reached into politics, media, and even the cultural fabric of the nation. But the world has changed. The clear narratives of the past have given way to complexity and ambiguity. Global events and shifting alliances have forced Americans to reconsider old assumptions. Social media and new voices challenge old stories, and younger generations inherit different memories and priorities. Online platforms amplify dissent and foster debate, reshaping how the alliance is viewed. The once unquestioned bond is now under scrutiny, tested by time and shifting perspectives. Generational divides and political polarization have made consensus harder to achieve. America's alliance with Israel faces its greatest test yet, a generational re-examination of its very foundations. As new voices rise and old certainties fade, the future of this historic partnership hangs in the balance. The generational divide over Israel is stark, revealing deep differences in how Americans see the world and their place in it. Polls show older Americans remain staunchly pro-Israel, while younger Americans increasingly sympathize with Palestinians. The numbers are clear. Age is now one of the strongest predictors of opinion on this issue. For baby boomers, Israel's story is one of survival and democracy, reinforced by decades of traditional media coverage and memories of Israel's early struggles. They see a nation defending itself, mirroring American ideals of resilience, freedom, and the fight for democracy. Millennials and Gen Z, shaped by wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and social justice movements, view the conflict through a lens of power and human rights. Their worldview is influenced by digital media, activism, and a skepticism of authority. To them, Israel is a powerful state, not an underdog, and the power imbalance is impossible to ignore. They see the conflict as part of a broader struggle for justice and equality. Even within the Jewish community, younger members are more critical of Israeli policies and less likely to feel a strong attachment to Israel. Generational rifts are opening up in families and congregations. This isn't just a political split, it's a profound shift in identity and values, touching on what it means to be American and what justice looks like in the modern world. The old consensus is fracturing, not just between generations, but within communities themselves. Conversations that once seemed settled are now sources of tension and debate. America's support for Israel is no longer a given. It's a debate that cuts to the core of national identity, forcing the country to confront its values and its role on the world stage. Economic pressures weigh heavily on young Americans, fueling skepticism about foreign aid. Crushed by student debt and rising living costs, many question why billions go overseas while domestic needs go unmet. Viral posts contrast military aid with struggles at home: student loans, homelessness, unsafe water. Polls reveal a stark generational split. Older Americans support aid to Israel, younger Americans oppose it. For the young, foreign aid feels like a betrayal of priorities. This isn't just about Israel, it's about a broader frustration with government spending. Isolationist arguments gain traction. Fix America first. The debate over aid to Israel is now a proxy for a larger question. What should America's priorities be in the 21st century? As economic anxiety grows, support for traditional alliances wanes. The future of U.S. foreign aid is being rewritten by a generation demanding change. The Gaza conflict is often called the first TikTok war, broadcast in real time to millions of young Americans who are glued to their screens. For many, this is their primary window into the realities of war, unfolding moment by moment. Social media platforms now bypass traditional news filters, delivering raw, unfiltered images of war directly to smartphones. These platforms make it possible for anyone, anywhere, to witness the conflict as it happens, without the mediation of anchors or editors. Algorithms are designed to amplify the most emotional and dramatic content, giving unprecedented voice to Palestinian perspectives and ensuring these stories reach millions in seconds. Young viewers are exposed to personal stories of loss and devastation, forging deep empathy and challenging old narratives that once dominated mainstream coverage. The result is a powerful David and Goliath narrative, with Israel often seen as the dominant force, and Palestinians portrayed as victims of overwhelming power. Graphic images and first-hand accounts erode the narrative of a purely defensive war, fueling accusations of human rights abuses and sparking global outrage. But this new media landscape is chaotic. Misinformation spreads rapidly, context is often lost, and both sides push their own agendas, making it harder to discern truth from propaganda. Still, the impact is undeniable. Young Americans are seeing the conflict through a different lens than their parents, leading to a generational divide in understanding and opinion. The old consensus on U.S. support for Israel is crumbling under the weight of unfiltered emotional storytelling that dominates social feeds and challenges official narratives. Social media has become the new battleground for hearts and minds, reshaping public opinion in real time and forever changing how wars are witnessed and understood. The debate over Israel is fraught with the risk of conflating criticism of policy with anti-Semitism. Criticizing Israeli government actions, settlements, blockades, military conduct is not inherently anti-Semitic. Many Jewish people and Israelis themselves are vocal critics of these policies. But when criticism morphs into conspiracy theories or collective blame, it crosses into bigotry. Recent surges in anti-Semitism have made honest debate more difficult, chilling speech on all sides. Navigating this requires moral clarity. Defend the right to criticize policy, but condemn hatred in all forms. The challenge is to foster honest, respectful debate without fueling ancient prejudices. Both the far left and far right oppose U.S. support for Israel, but for radically different reasons. The far left frames Israel as a colonial oppressor, aligning with anti-imperialist and social justice causes. Their solidarity with Palestinians is rooted in a struggle against perceived occupation and injustice. The far right, meanwhile, is driven by isolationism or, at its extreme, anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about Jewish influence. Their opposition isn't about human rights, but about nationalist and sometimes racist agendas. Despite similar rhetoric, opposing aid, questioning the alliance, their end goals are worlds apart. The far left seeks global solidarity. The far right dreams of an insular, ethnically pure nation. This convergence of unlikely critics adds complexity and confusion to the national conversation. Understanding these motivations is key to grasping the full landscape of opposition to U.S. Israel policy. Despite growing criticism, the U.S.-Israel alliance remains strong, anchored by strategic interests and powerful domestic forces. Israel is a vital partner in a volatile region, offering intelligence, military innovation, and a stable democratic presence. The partnership benefits the Pentagon and intelligence community, providing critical regional insights. Pro-Israel advocacy groups and evangelical Christians form a formidable political base, ensuring continued support. For many evangelicals, backing Israel is a matter of faith, not just policy. The machinery of U.S. foreign policy is built around this alliance, making change difficult and slow. Altering course would require massive political will and could destabilize the region. Even as public opinion shifts, institutional inertia and strategic calculations keep the alliance intact. Any change will be incremental and fiercely contested. The pillars of support are deeply embedded in America's political and strategic DNA. Is this generational shift a fleeting storm or a historic turning point for U.S.-Israel relations? Economic pain, new media, and a changing worldview are powerful forces for transformation. As millennials and Gen Z gain influence, their views will shape future policy. The era of unquestioned bipartisan support is ending, replaced by a more conditional, critical relationship. Supporters warn of risks to regional stability. Critics demand a foreign policy that reflects new values. The debate is about America's role in the world, global leader or inward-focused nation. Finding a path forward requires honest, nuanced debate, something rare in a polarized age. The world is watching as America decides its future course. Like and subscribe now for more than 125 videos related to history, geopolitics, anthropology, and more. The main sources used for this video were Brookings Institute, Pew Research Center, and Gallup.